Good morning students, welcome to operating system class. So already we have completed first unit, second unit and third unit first chapter. And today here I am going to start second chapter of third unit. Okay, and the title of the chapter is virtual memory. Okay, virtual memory. So today we'll discuss about what is a virtual memory, use of the virtual memory, how it will work, and what are the benefits, what disadvantages we have, and how it is implemented. Okay, so now let's go to the definition of the virtual memory. First here I have given a number of key points. In the key points itself you have a definition. Okay, virtual memory. What is the first point? It is a memory management. Memory management means whenever any process want to execute any program, how to allocate memory to that process, and when process completed its execution, how to take back that memory from the process. That will come under the memory management. Okay, so virtual memory is one of the memory management technique. Already I have explained few techniques of the memory management: paging, segmentation, contiguous memory allocation. Okay, so it is also one of the memory management technique. And this virtual memory provides an illusion of a bigger memory, than actually available memory. So example, what illusion it is providing to the user is, in the system we have example 8 GB RAM, 8 GB primary memory we have, but it will provide an illusion of a user can execute 10 GB of user program. Okay, so what what illusion it is providing to the user? The whatever memory is available in the system, that is small, but with that memory the user can execute a program which size is more than the actual memory. Okay, how I will explain. Now, parts of the second numbers. So whenever the user is executing any program which size is bigger than the actual memory, then what happened? Bigger than the main memory, then part of the secondary memory is used as a main memory, and in that main memory swapping is implemented. Okay, understood my point? Whenever the user want to execute a program whose size is bigger than the actual main memory, then what happened? The part of the secondary memory is used as a main memory. So that part of the whatever part you are using as a main memory from the secondary memory, that is called as a virtual memory. Actually, it is not located in the main memory. Whenever the user is requesting for more memory, at that time the part of the secondary memory is converted as a main memory to provide a user a convenient environment to execute a program. Understood? So what is a virtual memory? Virtual memory is nothing but it is a memory management technique. It will provide an environment to the user to execute a program whose program size is bigger than the actual memory. It is a technique. Understood? Now, actually, using a virtual memory, the user can execute a program which size is bigger than actual main memory. Okay, next one is using next in a virtual memory, limited number of process, limited portion of the process actually it is. In this case, what happened is, actually program using a paging technique. Example, this is a user program. User program is divided into a number of pages. So whenever the user want to execute any program, then what happened? All the pages of the program will not be loaded into a main memory. So whatever pages required right now, only that pages are loaded into the main memory. So that in this way only it is providing an illusion that the programmer can execute the program whose size is bigger than the main memory. But actually here what happened? Oh, not total program is loading into the main memory. Whatever pages are required from that process, only that pages are loaded. Example, here our RAM size is 6 GB and the total user program is 12 GB example. But right now, only from this total program, the user want to execute only 2 GB program. Then here, no need to load all these pages into a main memory. Here we need only the one page whose size is only 2 GB. That page is loaded. Understood? So virtual memory is providing an environment where only the required limited number of pages are loaded into the main memory. Okay, the remaining are in a secondary memory only. And whenever the user is requesting for the pages, at that time only that pages are loaded. And what pages required? Only that pages are loaded, not all the pages from the process. Understood? In the paging technique already I have explained, whatever user process is there, the total user process is divided into different parts and each and every part is called as a pages. Okay, and whenever the user want to execute, that pages are loaded into the main memory for the execution. And the number of pages, the size of the page and the size of the frame should be same. So using a virtual memory, what happened? Only one concept, one point is there here. The user can execute a program whose size is bigger than the main memory. Okay, but how internally how it is executing? The pages which are required from the process, only that pages are loaded. Not all the pages are loaded into the main memory. That is the concept of virtual memory. Clear? Now come to how it will work. How it works. The next one. It's a small concept only, but based on this we have a demand paging, page replacement, algorithms, number of topics we have. How it works? Actually, when we'll use a virtual memory, is whenever the user want to execute a programs whose size is bigger than the actual main memory. Okay, so if the size is bigger than the main memory, then only we'll use a virtual memory. So how it works is, when the user want to execute the program, whose program size is bigger than the actual memory, then what happened? Instead of loading all the pages of that program into the main memory, it will load only the required pages. It will load only the required pages. Okay, so here I'll give you one example. A program total, actually whatever main memory space available right now is example 50 MB. So in the main memory, how much space is available? 50 MB. But the user need 300 MB for execution. Okay, what is the actual memory here? 50 MB. How much the user want? 300 MB. In this case, extra how much memory we need to allocate? 250 MB. 250 MB. And this 250 MB is called as a virtual memory. And we'll take this memory from the secondary storage device. And whenever the user is requesting for the execution, then what happened? Programs are swapped from this virtual memory to the main memory. Understood? So how it works? Instead of loading all the programs, when the user is requesting, only the required pages are loaded. Okay. Next, and from where this extra memory we are taking as a part of the main secondary memory, we are taking, means a part of the secondary memory, we are maintaining as a virtual memory. And when this virtual memory is used, whenever the user is loading a program whose size is bigger than the main memory. Understood? Here I have given one example. How much memory we have right now? 50 MB. How much the user want? 300 MB. 50 MB we have. 50 MB easily you can load. The remaining 250 MB we are using as a virtual memory. And from where you are taking the 250 MB? From the secondary storage devices we are taking the 250 MB. Okay. Now here I will give you the list of the advantages. What advantages you have using a virtual memory? Now here we'll discuss about the advantages. What advantages we have using a virtual memory? First one is unlimited address space. Unlimited address space means it is providing a big memory, very large memory to the user to load a program. Okay. The next one is increased degree of multiprogramming. Increased degree of multiprogramming means at a time how many programs are executed, how many pages are executed, that is nothing but the degree of multiprogramming. Example, this is your CPU. We have a 3 process. Okay, instead of loading only one process, example, from this process we need only 2 pages, from this process we need only 1 page, from this process we need only the 3 pages. Okay, here we have a number of pages, but we are not loading all the pages into the CPU. What we are using a virtual memory concept, what we are doing, we are loading only the pages which are required to execute. Okay, so here what happened, instead of loading all the pages from each and every process, we are loading only the required pages into the main memory. So what happened, instead of executing one program at a time, you can execute, instead of loading only one program pages, you can load pages of multiple processes. So degree of programming will increase. So degree of multi-programming will increase. How it is increasing? Instead of loading pages of all the pages of one process, here what we are loading? We are loading pages of different process. Then what happened? It will increase the number of pages of number of process into the main memory. The next one is reduced input and output. Reduced input and output is, so you come to the third advantage, reduced input and output. Because swapping is done internally, it does not require any extra input and output instruction for the swapping. So that is also one of the advantage of virtual memory. Now come to the automatic memory allocation. So memory is allocated to the pages automatically based on the demand. So if the pages are, if more number of pages are to be loaded into the main memory, automatically memory is allocated to that process, and so that is also one of the advantages of the virtual memory. Now come to efficient memory allocation. Because how it is giving the efficient memory allocation? Example, here instead of loading all the pages, instead of giving a total main memory space to the one process, here we are giving that space to the more number of process. So what happened? We are efficiently using main memory. Okay, instead of giving total main memory to the one process, here we are giving main memory space to the number of process. Okay, so these are the advantages. And here one point is virtual memory is implemented using a demand paging. Virtual memory is implemented using a demand paging, and this is our next concept. Okay, now next we will discuss about the demand paging. So here now we will discuss about demand paging. In the name itself, you have a definition, demand paging. Actually, what is the use of this? Where we are using is, actually using a virtual memory concept. Already I have explained. Virtual memory concept, what happened? The pages which are required for execution, only that pages are loaded into the main memory. But here the question is, which page should be loaded into the main memory and which page should be in the secondary memory? It is difficult to decide which page should be kept in the secondary memory and which page should be into the main memory. So what happened? In order to decide which page should be in the main memory and which page should be in the secondary memory, here we have a concept called demand paging. Okay, so in the demand paging, in the name itself we have a definition. The pages are loaded into the main memory based on the demand of the user. Okay, so which page the user want to execute, only that pages are to be loaded into the main memory and all the remaining pages should be in the secondary memory. Understood? So when the user requests a particular page, at that time only the pages are loaded from your secondary memory to the main memory. Okay, so whatever the user is demanding, whichever page the user is demanding, only that pages are loaded into the main memory and the remaining pages should be in the secondary memory. So here I hope you all understood what is a demand paging. Demand paging, based on the user demand, the pages are loaded into the main memory. Till the user requests the pages, all the pages are saved, are kept in the secondary memory only. Okay, so demand paging, based on the demand, the pages are loaded into the main memory. So next question, how it works. Okay, how it works. Okay, so how it works, I hope you all understood what is a demand paging. Actually, demand paging technique, it will check, means in order to distinguish which pages are in the main memory and which pages are in a secondary memory. It will use the bit concept. Bit concept. Okay, so here it will use the two bits. One is a valid bit and the second one is an invalid bit. So whenever any user is requesting for execution for any page, first it will check the valid bit and invalid bit. If that page bit is a valid, then what it means, that page is in the main memory. And the particular page, in the page table only the information is stored. So for a particular page, if the bit is invalid, what it means, that page is in the secondary memory. So whenever any user is requesting for any page, first what it will check the valid or invalid. If it is valid, that program is loaded into the CPU. But if the page, if it finds the bit is invalid, then what happened? Immediately the control goes to the operating system. Okay, so why we are giving control to the operating system is because the operating system will search that required page in the secondary memory. If that required page is there in the secondary memory, then what happened? That operating system will brought that page into the main memory. Okay, and it will update the page table. Instead of the invalid, what it will do? It will give the value. Understood? And when it will transfers the page into the main memory, automatically it will update the page table also. And when after updating, again control is taken back by the operating system. Understood? Here only the point is, whenever the user is requesting, at that time only the pages are loaded to the main memory. Okay, and if the page, the user is requesting a page and that page is not there in the main memory, then what happened? That is called as a page fault. Page fault. And how it will check whether there is a page fault or not? It will check the bits. It means the bit is a valid or not. If it is a valid, what it means? The page is there in the main memory. If it is an invalid, what it means? The page is there in the secondary memory. So if it is invalid means if the page fault occurs, then what happened? The control is given back to the operating system, and operating system will search that page in the secondary memory. If the required page is there in the secondary memory, that page is transferred from secondary memory to the main memory, and the page table is updated accordingly. Means in place of invalid, it will change into the valid. So when the operating system transfers page from the secondary memory to the primary memory, then after transferring, the control is taken back from the operating system. Understood? Demand paging. And using a demand paging, we have a number of advantages. Only the required pages to be loaded, the remaining pages are in the secondary memory only. So in that way, you can utilize the CPU time efficiently. And multi-program, again, whatever advantages you have in a virtual memory, all the advantages you will get in a demand paging also. But disadvantages in a virtual memory also, we have a disadvantages. What disadvantages? We have a transferring pages from secondary memory to the main memory if the page is not there. And the second disadvantage is trashing, page fault. Okay, if the required page is not there, page fault occurs. It's a time wasting. Okay, these are only the two disadvantages. Okay, so demand paging understood, all of you? Now, next year, one more topic is there, page fault service. Page fault service. What is a page fault service? As I already explained, page fault. What is the page fault? The user is requesting for a page. The user wants to execute one page. That page is not exist in the main memory. then what happened? That page should be transferred from secondary memory to the primary memory, main memory. Who will transfer? The operating system will transfer. So in order to carry out all these functions, how much time is required? That time is called as a page fault service. The total time is required to perform the steps whatever I have explained. Checking valid or invalid. If it is invalid, the control is given back to the operating system. Operating system will search in a secondary memory the page found, then that again it should be transferred to the main memory, and again it is bits will be updated accordingly. All these steps. In order to perform all these steps, how much time is required? That is called as a page fault service. Okay, so this is about virtual memory and demand paging, and what advantages, disadvantages, how it will work. Next, what is a page fault service? This is about demand paging and page fault services. Okay. Here we have one diagram. Using this diagram, you can complete the work of the demand paging. You can explain. Okay. Here you can see this is the main memory. Okay. Means from where CPU takes the instruction, from where the instruction will be executed. And in the main memory, the first part is the operating system. Okay, and this space is used for user programs. Okay, here the user programs are executed, and in order to execute the user program, the user space, this complete user space is divided into frames: frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5. Already I have explained the size of the frame and the size of the page should be equal, and the pages are loaded into the frames. If the size of the page is 2 bytes, then the frame size should be also 2 bytes, because the pages loaded into the main memory. Okay, this is the frame. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. Example: frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. Here example A, B, C means in this frame A. In this frame, program A is executing. In this frame, B is executing, and in this frame, C is executing. And this frame is free, means you can load any other page based on the user requirement. And here we have a n number of frames. Again, how demand page is working. So example, whenever the user is requesting for any page, then what happened? It will generate, the CPU will generate the logical address. And in the logical address, page number is there. And from that page, what it want to read, it is already I have explained, offset D. So whenever the CPU generates the logical address, then what happened? It will give the 2 page number and the offset. Then the memory management unit, what it will do is, actually what is the use of this memory management unit? It will do the mapping. Okay, memory management unit. It will search that page in the page table. Okay, in the page table is actually it is there in the main memory unit. The page table, it will search the page and it will search the bit also. Means that page bit is a valid or invalid. If the page bit is a valid, means it will load. Okay, that page means that page is loaded into the CPU. But if any page bit is invalid, if any page bit is invalid, what it means? That page is not there in the main memory. Understood? Valid means what? That page is there in the main memory. If it is invalid, then what happened? That page is not there in a main memory. Then what happened? Again, control goes to the memory management unit. Okay, because that invalid means that page is not exist. So memory management unit, what it will do is, again it will check for the free frame. It is check for the free frame. Means in the main memory, if any frame is free or not, because if you want to load the page, one frame should be free. So first it will check for the free frame. If the frame is free, then what happened? It will load. It will go to the secondary memory. It is a secondary memory. It is also called as a backend store. Secondary, or it is called as a backend store. Understood? So it will search for the page. If the page is there in the secondary memory, then what happened? It will transfer this page from secondary memory to the main memory, where it will transfer where the frame is free. Okay, actually this is the concept of demand paging. Okay. So whenever the user is requesting for any page, then what happened? Logical address is generated, and that logical address is given to the memory management unit. And memory management unit checks in the page table. In the page table, what it will check? Whether that pages exist and what is the bit of that page. Means bit means it's a valid or not. Already I have explained. Valid means that page is there in the main memory only. If that invalid means what happened? That page is not exist in the main memory. If it is a valid, then that page is loaded into the CPU. If it is not valid, then what happened? It is swapping is required. If the page is invalid, then what happened? Swapping is required. In order to swap, first what happened? The memory management should check in the main memory for the frame. Okay, in the main memory. So means that particular page means particular frame is there or not. Means that particular frame is a free or not. If it is free, then only you can load the pages into the frames. So if it is free, then next what happened? It will go to the secondary memory. Again here also it will check that pages exist in the secondary memory or not. And if the page is there in the secondary memory, it will swap the page from secondary memory to the main memory for the execution. So here what happened? The page which is all the pages are not loading. Here we have number of pages, but it is not loading all the pages. Whichever page the user is requesting, only that page is loaded into the frame which is free. Understood all of you? So here only the thing is, not all the pages are loaded. The pages which are required, only that pages are loaded. So whenever the user is requesting for any execution of any page, then what happened? The memory management unit, it will check in the page table. Okay, and how it will distinguish whether the page is there in the main memory and it is there in the secondary memory? It will check the bit. Okay, so bit mechanism it will use, means bit, and for whenever the page is loaded into the main memory, then that page bit is a valid, and if any page is in the secondary memory, that page is invalid. So whenever the user is requesting for any page, first memory management unit will check the valid or invalid. If it is an invalid means what happened? Invalid means it is a page fault. Means that page is not exist. When the page fault occurs, then control goes back to the memory management unit. It's a part of the OS. Then what happened? It will search free frame. And if the free frame is there, again it will go to the secondary storage device, the backing store. In that backing store, if the required pages exist, again that page is swapped from your secondary storage to the main memory, wherever the frame is free. Understood? So this is about your virtual memory and the demand paging. So virtual memory in concept, what we are doing, we are providing an illusion to the user that we have a small main memory only, but we can execute a big program. Okay, the program which is more size compared to a main memory. Actually, how it is executing, instead of loading all the pages of that program, what we are loading, the pages which are required execution. The pages which are waiting for the execution, only that pages are loaded into the main memory. And how this virtual memory concept is implemented? This virtual memory concept is implemented based on using a demand paging. And in a demand paging, what we are doing? We are loading only the pages which are required by the user. Understood? So this is about your virtual memory and demand paging. In the next class, we will discuss about page replacement algorithms. Okay, what a page replacement algorithm means? How to replace pages between a main memory and the secondary memory. We have a different page replacement algorithms that we will discuss in the next class. I hope you all understood. Okay, thank you.